Welcome to the Cowboy Football Roundup with Oklahoma State head coach Mike Gundy. The Cowboys suffered their first loss to the Baylor Bears in Boone Pickens Stadium. And Coach, your thoughts overall on the game, how it transpired?
Baylor played really well. On Saturday night, they were a better team than we were. They were able to run the football. We were not able to rush the football. And their specialty is throwing the deep ball down the field, and they were effective in hitting those passes. It seemed like a lot, but when we came back and watched the tape, the effort was great. We never had any downfall from an effort standpoint. And we made some plays defending the deep throws. But going in, we knew it. Everybody does. And if they hit just 3 or 4 of them like they did, they're such big plays. And you have to give them credit. They've done a great job with recruiting the type of linemen that allow them to be a physical running team. And then their quarterback play was good. The young kid made some throws, and then they brought the other guy in the second half. And so we thought, well, now we can really kind of try to gang up on the run. Mm-hmm. And his first 2 throws were right on the money, and they were effective in the same area. So it was a tough loss for us because the players expected to win, and we haven't lost a football game in a long time.
Right.
And so you're on a little bit different pace than what we were, but if you play enough big games and if you win enough and you put yourself in that position, eventually sometimes you're going to come up a little short. So we've gotten over that, but we're still very proud of the team and the work they put in and the way they played in that game. They just scored more points than we did. And
still a chance to win a conference championship, and a 12-game winning streak is nothing that should be taken for granted.
No, those guys have had a great run, and we'll get them back this week and get them ready for the next one.
We'll take a look at the highlights of the Cowboys and Baylor after these messages. Back on the Cowboy Football Roundup with Oklahoma State head coach Mike Gundy. Let's take a look at the highlights at Boone Pickens Stadium. And chilly night, but kind of vintage late November Big 12 football weather.
Yeah, it felt just like football. You know, they started the game with the 2 quick strikes, and there's only about 3 minutes gone in the game, and it was 14-0.
Yeah.
Then we started here. Mason hits Washington on a spot route, back to throwing it again, and Mason over the top on a 3rd down play to Aitman.
Yes, Marcel.
And got it down there in their territory, and got good protection versus blitz. And Mason came back and hit Aitman again to get down to the 9-yard line.
Kind of continuing your theme against Iowa State, that's 3rd and long.
Yeah, it was 3rd and long and a great one-handed grab. And then J-Dub comes in with a little quick toss, and McCleskey, I believe,
yes,
gets the touch. So now it's 14-7, and there's been about 3 minutes gone on the clock. A lot of action. If anybody tuned in late to the game, they looked at the scoreboard and wondered what happened. Defense is out, got on 4th down, and got a good play there, and got the stop and got the ball back. Offense came out, and a little play pass and hit Veach down the middle of the field for about 15 or 20 yards.
Then you're in tempo here, and that sets up something big.
Yeah, we're in tempo here. We got a nice play fake, and Mason goes over the top again to James, and he makes a nice catch. And then now it's 14-14 with 5 minutes gone in the game.
Is there an extra advantage to throwing deep in a tempo situation typically, or does it just depend on the opponent and what they do?
I think you have to mix it up. I think sometimes you've got to run it inside, you've got to run it outside, you got to be able to throw it down the field. And so we've got a good game going here, and they came back. A nice play there with Kevin. That's one of the times that you and I were talking about off the air here, that he got his share of wins in those deep balls. There was just so many of them that eventually it caught up to us. Offense is back at it. We set up a nice screen here with Carson. Good job getting down the field there for about 20 yards. We used a few screens in this game, and it worked out well for us. We got them spread out a little bit. Mason come back over the middle on long yardage to Hayes. Nice throw, nice grab there.
Rudolph finished the game 27-50, 430 yards, and back on defense now, Coach.
Yeah, defense is back out, and then here comes the big guy again. I think that's 38, and
Emmanuel Ogba.
And he had a couple sacks and a fumble recovery and just continues to play.
Yeah, they reviewed that and decided it would stand, but a moment later, you got a review that went your way.
Right, yeah, we had another fumble. And, you know, it's interesting right there.
Yes.
In that the ball was out and he's looking right at it, and we could have picked it up and run it.
Right.
But I guess I don't really understand how they do that with the whistle blown and so on and so forth. But back at it again, 38 with the sack, the strip, and the fumble recovery. So made a nice play. He continues to be a great player for us.
You were coming up with a lot of stops defensively. Even though all the possessions ended up in your territory, you were getting stops.
This is where we let the game get away from us, in that we stopped them on a 4th and scored, and then we had a couple fumbles. And even though it was down inside the 40 or 35, we still didn't overcome and go in and score. And I really felt like that we could have only been behind by 3 points at half, which would have really changed the play caller's mentality for Baylor. But we didn't get there, and then once it got extended past 2 scores, makes it tough against a team as good as Baylor.
We'll take a look at the second half highlights when the Cowboy Football Roundup continues after these messages. Back on the Cowboy Football Roundup as we move along to the second half highlights of Oklahoma State and Baylor at Boone Pickett Stadium. It was 24-14 at halftime, Coach, and he had the ball to start the second half and couldn't score, and then saved a touchdown here.
Yeah, we got a nice play there from Trey, and that's another example of where they got behind us, and we came back and rallied and made a few plays. Offense is back out there, and we have a little play pass going here, and Mason gets the ball downfield. Great catch by Seals. It's good to see him get back into the action and get out there and make a play.
First extensive action for him in more than a month.
Yeah, and he really made a nice catch there. Another play pass, and Mason getting the ball to James. James getting up the field for about 7 yards. Quick throw there on the end cut to Glidden to convert for a first down.
How did things change for them defensively once they got the larger lead, went up 3 scores?
Just a lot more 3-man rush,
yeah.
And knowing that being down more than 2 scores, draw play there, nice run by Carson. We were down 2 scores, and when that happens, they can play more pass defense, knowing that it's tough to play catch up. We became a little bit one-dimensional. Nice ball there. Another touchdown pass for McCleskey, right?
Yes.
So it's a good throw, good catch.
That cut it to 38-21 late in the third quarter. 67-yard touchdown drive in 11 plays, and you know you're still hanging in there. Yes. Obviously, that was a big score.
And now they have the other quarterback in, and he's pretty mobile. And he made a few plays, and then he forced the ball here and got it back to us. So Stearns makes another interception and got the ball at midfield. And we went into a 2-minute mode offensively, and we were able to generate some quick plays and get the ball thrown down the field. This was the point in the game where I was really proud of our team in the way they continued to compete and make plays. And Mason's putting the ball downfield here to Glidden in the middle, and he obviously makes a catch and a move.
That's a 4th and 12 conversion there to keep this touchdown drive alive.
And he catches him here and takes the ball up over the top. Or no, this is one underneath, a touchdown pass there to Washington when he came underneath. So I believe we cut it back to 10 again at that point.
Yeah, 38-28. And at that point in time, you decided to go with an onside kick with about 5 minutes to go. What was your thought process?
Well, we just didn't feel like that we could kick the ball deep as well as they were rushing the football. They were going to use 40 seconds on every possession, right. Every down, I guess I should say. And so anyway, we decided to try the onside kick, and they scored, and then we came back and put a drive together and got the ball down inside the 5 again. And I believe we brought J-Dub in.
Yes. And
we were able to score again. And so this was a time when I was talking about we really competed and continued to play hard.
Walsh hauls it in for the final score of the game. and Baylor leaves Stillwater with a 45-35 victory over Oklahoma State. Walsh takes it in from 2 yards out. And, you know, you were talking about defensively as we wrap up the game here, you and Coach Briles visiting after the game, but their ability to stay second and medium, second and short, third and short, how much did that allow them to be even more aggressive throwing the ball down the field because you didn't have them in second and long or third and long very often? How important was that piece of it? Well,
it's real important. And, you know, they're rushing the football effectively now, and we're not. And that's what happened in that game.
We come back. The story of Raymond Taylor, Oklahoma State's walk-on tailback who's become a prominent contributor to the Cowboy offense. This is the Cowboy Football Roundup. Welcome back to the Cowboy Football Roundup. He's certainly been one of the great stories on the Oklahoma State football team, from walk-on to major contributor. In fact, one of the heroes in OSU's victory over Texas Tech. It's a unique story, and Allison Gappa shares this story about the journey of Raymond Taylor.
Raymond Taylor is the fourth-string walk-on running back who earned a starting job at a football powerhouse. The journey wasn't easy. His football college story starts at a junior college.
People say it was a JUCO experience, and I got to live that. It's a lot different from anything I experienced here at Oklahoma State. Food options is a lot better here, and then, you know, there's actually a weight room here. I feel like it was like a big closet we worked out at the JUCO school, our games were played on an old baseball field. Just everything is a lot different. It was probably halfway through my semester there where the walk-on decision was already made. It was right before Christmas break, and the JUCO school, their offices were closed, I guess, so they couldn't send my transcript till after the break. And that's why Oklahoma State couldn't accept my enrollment until the next fall.
Because he couldn't enroll at OSU, Raymond went to Kansas State, but only as a student. He spent the semester doing everything he could to be ready for walk-on tryouts.
I had just had surgery on my shoulder, so I was just rehabbing. How I was after JUCO, I don't even think I would have had enough time to work out to be the way I wanted to be when I tried out for here. And then after I got done rehabbing, I just had months to myself to just focus on training and getting walk-on ready.
It's a process that landed Raymond a spot on the team. His opportunity came this season against Kansas State. He dove into the end zone that game for a second effort touchdown. And following that performance, he boosted the Cowboys in their comeback win against Texas Tech.
I also like because the offensive line gets so excited too. And, you know, they're the ones making the play. And the fact that I got to get in there with the cuts and the blocks that they made and celebrate with them afterwards, it was a fun time.
Outside the Cowboy football locker room reads the words of the legendary John Wooden. A player who makes a team great is better than a great player, and that player is Raymond Taylor.
With what the situation is this year and all the other backs that could play at any time, because everybody can have a good game, really. Just trying to enjoy the moment. Everything's moving so fast. Everything's week after one game. It's the preparation for the next, and everything's reevaluated again. But the opportunity to play is more there, regardless of who's starting, and that's what I'm appreciative of.
Coach Raymond Taylor, obviously from a walk-on to someone who's made a number of key plays this year, a major contribution. Do you remember a tailback since you've been here that's been able to do that, go from a walk-on status to do the things Raymond Taylor's done since you've been head coach?
He's made more big plays late in games when we needed him to in close games than we've ever had with a walk-on, especially a skill player.
Yeah.
And I think it was the Kansas State game. He carried the ball and kept a drive alive late. West Virginia, and then Texas Tech, as you mentioned. So it's always fun and special when you have a young man that's willing to pay the price and walk on and then have success like Raymond's had. And he's a great person and a real addition to our team.
Coach Gundy and I preview the Bedlam matchup. The Cowboys and the Sooners will battle in Stillwater in the regular season finale, and we break it down after this. Welcome back to the Cowboy Football Roundup. We preview Bedlam now, Oklahoma State and Oklahoma coming up in Stillwater on a Saturday night to wrap up the regular season. What's the biggest change you've seen on video with Oklahoma, say from mid-October around the time they lost to Texas to where they are now?
They're getting terrific quarterback play. Mayfield has been really good for their team, in our opinion. Their running backs are effective running the football, and their defense is running and playing with speed, and they're tackling better than they were really last year. You know, I kind of make that comparison, and they've been considerably different offensively since the Texas game. You know, they're basing out of a 3-down front, and they bring 19 up on the line, some to make it 4 down, and they use him as a pass rusher. And there's a lot of similarities with what they're doing. I just think that, in our opinion, from an outsider looking in, they're much better at it this year than they have been.
So the Cowboys and Sooners will meet in Stillwater with a lot on the line on Bedlam Saturday, Thanksgiving Saturday, here in 2015. For Coach Gundy and Allison Gappa and our entire crew, I'm Dave Hunziker. See you next time on the Cowboy Football Roundup.